And we've began. Okay, so today we're going to jump into RT4. This is chapter 16, lesson 1. We're going to find a new formula for finding the area of a triangle. Isn't that fun? You can find the area of a triangle in another way now. All right, what's the one way we know? Area, 1/2 base times height, right? 1/2 base times height. Today, I'm going to show you a new formula. This is our new formula for area. What do you think the lowercase letters stand for in a triangle? Sides. The sides. And what does the big C stand for? An angle. It's going to be the angle in between. This is the area sandwich. It's side angle sandwich, right? So it's side angle side. If we have side angle side, we can find the area of a triangle. That's all we need. All we need is the angle between two sides. Ciao.
Wait, can we find it with like the other ones?
Good point was just brought up. I want to make sure all the children on the web understand this. If I have an angle and the two sides around it, I can find the area of the triangle. But someone said, well, what about if you have a 90 with two sides around it? That's when you use this. You use this formula with right triangles. You use this formula over here with non-right triangles. So let's get to it. Let's apply also this thing called the law of sines, which I'll prove in a couple of minutes. And we'll roll, and you'll all get math gains. All right, so we can find the area of all these triangles, right? Base times height divided by 2. So in each of the cases, it looks like I have a base and I have a height. Right? And you're like, well, this one over here, I mean, it's clear that all three of these are right triangles, so I have my base and height. Well, here, this isn't a right triangle, but I can use the fact that I know its height to find the area. That's not always given, right? That's not always given, so we might have to do some work to find that height. So how about this situation? Similar. I don't know this height, but what if I did know this height? What if I did know that height? Could I then find the area? Yeah, and there's a way on the next page that I'm about to show you that will allow us to do that. So here we go. This is the proof. This is where we get to nerd out a little bit. Okay? Oh, yeah. I think we can all agree that the area equals 1/2 the base. What letter represents the base right now? A, correct. That would be the base in this case. And we're going to use the letter H to represent the height. Okay, so area of this triangle would be A, 1/2 A times H. Well, is there a way for us to find H? Well, let's look at this angle C and just take a look at this triangle for a moment. If I have H and I have B, what side would B equal in this triangle? Hypotenuse, adjacent, or opposite? Yeah, that'd be our hypotenuse, right? The H would be the opposite side. So wouldn't you agree that the sine of C equals H over B? Yeah? So I could solve for H by doing what? Cross multiplying. What's 1 times H? H. What's B times sine of C? Well, that's B times sine of C. So if the height is B times the sine of C, I replace this with B times the sine of C. And there's the area of any triangle. If you have a side angle sandwich, right? If I have side angle side, I know an angle between two sides, I can find the area using this formula. Of course, if I have a right triangle, don't use this. Don't use it. Use what you already know, 1/2 base times height. So there's our formula. 1/2 side times side times the sine of the angle in between. So let's take a moment and determine the area here. For the first one, How would we set this up? Is this a right triangle? Not that we know of, right? So the area would be 1/2 side times the sine of the angle in between. Would you, with a neighbor, take a calculator out, figure out the measure of the area of this triangle, please? Did anybody have an answer? Want to fire one out there? Say again. 79? I got 79. Square centimeters. Remember, this is area, right? So this would be centimeters squared. Okay. Okay, as we look at the next one, what's the problem? We have two sides, but we don't have what? We have to have a side angle sandwich, right? We need this side, right? Or we need this angle. Which one's going to be easier to find? This angle, right? If I need this angle is going to be 180 minus 105 minus 35, right? I think that's 180 minus 140. So that angle must be 40. Now I have my side angle sandwich. Can somebody tell me what my formula would be here? Mr. Lott, it'd be 1/2 times 200 times 300 times the sine of the 40. Good job. Way to go. Was that you, Hans? Yeah. Oh, nice job. Hans, what did you get when you plugged that into your calculator? Hold on. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, 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 beep. Boop, 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 beep, boop, 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 boop. I got that. Way to go, Hans. Good job. Hans, you're wrong. That should be 19,284. Sorry. All right. We'll give you a pass on this one. Thanks. Hey, do you know how to use this now?
Yeah.
You got to have side angle side, though, before you can use it. Okay, cool. Let's go to the next slide. I think I'm going to do another proof here. Yeah, I am. Okay, I want to look at two different triangles. The first one I'm going to look at is right over here. Okay, how would I write out the sine of B? That would be what? We just did it. H over what? Nope. In that red triangle, H over hypotenuse, which is A, right? So wouldn't the sine of B be H over A? If I look at this triangle here, what would the sine of A equal? H over B. Okay, what do both of these have in common? An H. Okay, so let's solve for H. So if I solve for H over here, I'd get sine, or A times the sine of B. If I solve for H over here, I'd get B times the sine of A. And if they're both equal to H, what's true about them? They're equal to each other. This is just a mini proof here for you, folks. This is free chicken. You can show this to your parents, maybe at like a party, like a retirement party, and be like, hey, did you know this? Okay, I want to get the B's on the same side and the A's on the same side. So what should I divide by? Divide this side by what? You could. I'm going to divide by A, right? It doesn't really matter. Yep, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to divide that side by B.
We don't have to divide it by the same thing.
Right? I have to divide both sides by the same thing, right? And so what cancels over here on the left? The A's cancel. What cancels on the right? B's cancel. And so we get this thing called the law of sines. Okay, and I could have done this for C as well, but this looks a whole lot like something you might need to, I don't know, cross multiply. Right? So sine of A over side A equals sine of B over side B. And we can then say that if we would have gone further, sine of C over side C. So what does this do for us? This allows us to find a side or an angle in a non-right triangle using proportions. Yeah, this is called the law of sines. You're going to see it officially laid out on the next page. Okay, law of sines. There we go. All the lowercase letters stand for sides. All the uppercase letters stand for angles. Okay, keep that straight in the old noggin. So how do you use it? Because right now you're probably like, wow, that was amazing. You just tricked me. I think you're so smart. Well, don't be fooled. But how do I even use it? Well, we'd use it to find either a capital letter or a lowercase letter, meaning we want to find an angle or a side. So let's do that. Oh, this is scary. I have to find that side. Which letter do you like other than W? A, B, or C, Sean? Good choice. Let's call this side A. So what would this angle be? Right here. What angle would that be? If we call this side A, that has to be angle A. The angle is always across from its lowercase letter side, right? So if I called this angle B, this would have to be side B. All right, so if I write this out, write out our formula, sine of A over A equals sine of B over B. I can replace these values with what we know. Which of these four letters, capital A, capital B, lowercase a, or lowercase b, are we looking for? Lowercase a. So what would I fill in here for uppercase A? 79 degrees. What's uppercase B? 52 degrees. What's lowercase b? 28. And we're going to do some cross multiplication. We're going to do some cross multiplication. Don't say no. Okay, here we go. I'm going to cross multiply. This is going to kind of look ugly, but 28 times sine of 79, that's scary. Is that 28 times 79? No. It's 28 times sine of 79. Okay? And then a times sine of 52. Scary. No, it's not scary. How do I get a alone? I divide by? No. Divide by sine of 52. Good. If I divide by sine of 52. No, I want to get a alone. I don't want to get 28 alone. So I divide by sine of 52. So sine of 52 cancels the sine of 52. And a is going to equal something. Why don't you take a minute, see if you can accurately calculate this. I'm going to do the same. Oh, miniature toothpaste. How do they even do that? That wouldn't even last like 3 applications. I'm running to the nearest whole unit, and I'm getting that. Anybody else with me? Yeah? Okay. If you didn't do that, this is probably what you did. You forgot to nest some parentheses. Here's what this looks like on my calculator. It looks like this. I wrote 28 sine 79. I made sure I was in degree mode. Divided by sine of 52. And then press enter right there. Right? Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to download it. How is this?
All right. I want to do one more, you guys. I want to do one more. I'm going to use the law of sines to find the angle. Would you please do a setup to find angle B? Now, question. What would the 150 be? Would that be side A, side B, or side C? Side B, right? It's across from B, angle B, so it's side B. Guess what? You have some freedom on this problem. Do you like the letter A or C better? C, okay. So then call that angle C, call that side C. I'd like you to set up a proportion and get as far as you can. Get as far as you can, and then I'll help you complete it because I think there might be something scary here. Okay, go. Get as far as you can. Okay, for the children on the World Wide Web, I set this up. I said sine of B over 150 equals sine of 68 over 250. I cross multiply. I get 250 times the sine of B equals 150 times the sine of 68. I divide by 250 and I get down to here. How did we find an angle before?
Inverse.
Inverse. So the angle B is equal to the inverse sine of 150 times the sine of 68 over 250. Oh! We take the inverse sine of all of this. Okay, this is your first attempt. Don't be surprised if you screw up like how you type it in. It's fine. You just need to practice it. If you don't practice it, you're just not going to be good at it. So give it a try. Let's see what you get. I'm going to try it as well, and we'll find out what our measure of angle B would equal there. For all the math muscle fans out there, if you got 33.8 degrees, you can give yourself a nice little Marky Mark double cheese Wahlburger tonight. Hey, so if you're having questions about how to type this into your calculator, I would type it in from left to right. Inverse sine 150 times sine of 68 divided by 250. And then I'd press this button down in the bottom. It's called enter. And then it spits out this answer. It'll probably be 33.8. And that's your angle. How fun!